Hey, how's it going, everybody? Today I'm going to be reviewing Where the Crawdads Sing. This is a movie I hadn't heard a lot about. I've never read the book before, so I'm going into this movie completely blind. I can't tell you how accurate it is to the book or anything. Just so heads up on that. This is going to be a review specifically on the movie and the movie itself. When I first saw the trailer for this movie, what really caught my attention was the cinematography. The movie itself just looked like it was going to be really well shot. It just looked beautiful when I saw the trailer, and that's what really gravitated me towards the movie. Plus, it's coming out right in the middle of the summer. Like we just had Thor last week, and we're gonna have Nope next weekend, and then Bullet Train in a few weeks. So it's like in between all these blockbusters that we've already had this summer, it's like right in the middle. We got we got a movie like Where the Crawdads Sing, and it just kind of seemed like a nice movie to go and see. Kind of take a break from the blockbusters, and it was a nice break. And what I really liked about this movie is how effective the story is told. The movie itself, the story is very simple but told rather effectively. It follows a girl named Kaya who lives in the marshes of Carolina. And from a young age, she's basically left to fend for herself. Her mom leaves, her dad leaves, and all her siblings end up leaving her. She's left this house all by herself, and she's basically an outcast by the entire community. As she grows older and gets into her adult years, she ends up getting basically she's the number one suspect and ends up getting accused of murdering someone that she was once in love with. So basic story right there, and it's kind of like it's her story as she grows up, also interwoven with the fact that this whole trial scene that happens, kind of taking place, is to find out whether or not she's innocent or guilty. So story itself rather simple but told very effectively, to the point where going into this movie I didn't expect this movie to be a type of thing where I'm like on the edge of my seat really wanting to know what happens next, but that's exactly the type of movie this was. It was a very gripping movie, and Daisy Edgar Jones, who plays Kaya in this movie, does an absolutely fantastic job. I have not seen her in anything before. I did a quick search up on her on IMDb. Gonna have to definitely watch some of her other projects that she's done, because she is just absolutely amazing in this movie with the accent and everything. With she never breaks accent, and just the way she's able to just act. I mean, you really feel like she really is like ostracized itself, and that's what's really cool about this movie. Is from the opening shot, you feel like you are like boots on the ground, like they're in the marshes. It doesn't even feel like you're just like an audience member watching a movie on the screen. You feel like you are right there in the marshes with all these people, and you are part of this town. And the fact that Daisy Edgar Jones is really able to sell the fact that she is this outcast and is this person who basically grew up having to fend for herself. It's not an easy thing to do as an actor, and even as far as directing a movie like that goes, Olivia Newton does a great job directing this movie. It's all done very well. The cinematography, there are shots in this movie that are absolutely breathtaking, to the point where I'm definitely going to watch this movie again when it comes out. But also, there is probably going to be times where I just put the disc in, and I'm going to hit probably scene selection, and I'm just going to go to certain scenes just to watch the beautiful cinematography. And it was just a nice fresh air between a lot of CGI, a lot of green screen, blue screen movies we see this day, to just watch the camera and just see the beautiful cinematography of the marshes, along with just a really gripping and compelling story. And other than that, I don't want to. It'd be very easy to kind of give away too much for this movie. And I'm sorry I haven't read the book, like I said, so I can't really tell you how this really stacks up to the book. Although I will say, after having watched this movie, I do want to read the book just to kind of see what the not only what the differences are, but I really like the story, and I know the book probably adds a lot more to it. So I'll probably end up reading the book as well. But yeah, listen, this movie, the only really critique I have about it is, while it's not too long, it's 2 hours and 5 minutes, but I do think the movie probably could have been 10 minutes shorter. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, that's like the biggest thing I've been saying about so many movies this year. Is it seems like just about every movie is just running anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes too long, and this movie I think just goes 10 minutes too long. The pacing's really done really well, but I think had this movie just been 10 minutes shorter, it really could have it could have sung so much more. No pun intended. So anyway, I definitely recommend seeing Where the Crawdads Sing. It's a nice, gripping story with great acting, great characters. And speaking of the characters, actually, real quick before I end this review, this movie does something that a lot of movies try to do. That you have your likable characters and you have your dislikable characters, and that's kind of like the two kind of characters you have in this movie. And a lot of movies, because when you have likable, dislikable characters, there's that like kind of fine line you really have to kind of go on. You don't want to make somebody too likable to the point where an audience is going to eye roll with how much you're just trying to ham fist their likability down your throat. And same thing goes with if you're trying to make a character dislikable. But in this movie, if a character is likable, it comes out with the fact that with their character development, with how they act. And if the character is dislikable, it's the same thing. With the character development, with how the way the character acts, the movie never feels the need to just ham fist a certain character's traits down your throat. And that's a breath of fresh air, because we've seen so many movies these days where it feels like the director and just the story itself is just trying to, oh, do you get it? Do you get it? This person's really likable, aren't they? Or they're really dislikable, aren't they? And this movie doesn't do any of that. It's just your likable characters are likable and your dislikable characters are dislikable, just for the fact of the character development and also just the actions that the characters take. That's a breath of fresh air. So once again, I definitely recommend seeing Where the Crawdads Sing. And anyway, if any of you guys have seen Where the Crawdads Sing, let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. And like always, I hope to see you back in my next review.